You know, I have been watching all the Israeli channels in the last days, and I can see how much the Israeli society is in shock. I can see that maybe to a certain extent the Israeli security system has been humiliated. I can understand this. I can understand the feel. I can understand the anger. But nobody from the Israeli channels now is trying to also show the public some pictures and videos of what's happening now in Gaza. What's happening now in Gaza is also terrible. It's terrible.
Listen, Samer, I agree with you. I agree with you from the beginning about condemning it, but I, as an Israeli, feel sorrow when I see Palestinians suffering. I have no desire for Palestinians to be hurt. And at the same time, I don't think that that is reciprocal. That is not what we've seen in the response, even to this attack. Not all Palestinians, of course. There are many innocent Palestinians, and many of them who just want to live in peace. But there are also hundreds, if not thousands, who were celebrating this massacre, and that's undeniable, and you don't see that on the Israeli side. I'm sorry, but you don't. Does that mean everything Israel does is correct? Of course not. But it's not the same thing.
300 kids lost their lives too in Gaza now.
And that is a terrible tragedy, but you don't see Israelis celebrating in the streets because there are Palestinian children who have been killed.
Can you condemn this, please? Can you condemn the loss of the lives of 300 kids in Gaza now?
Condemn the loss of lives? Of course. I think it's a terribly sad thing. Does that mean Israel should stop attacking Hamas sites? Absolutely not.
Well, what will happen then?
I want to ask you, actually, Samer. I want to know from you, what do you think the solution is? What do you think Israel should do in response to the rise and the strength of Hamas at this point, killing civilians, which you condemned? But you don't support Israel striking Hamas sites. So what do you support? What should Israel be doing?
I don't accept, and I condemn, and I consider it's terror killing kids in Gaza. Kids, they are kids, 300 kids among 600 people, 50%.
Yes, but the IDF isn't targeting children. They're targeting Hamas military sites.
Hamas military, Emily, are under the ground, and the military...
Then that is the responsibility of Hamas.
They know.
That alone is a war crime. Putting things next to mosques, inside of mosques, under mosques, in schools, under schools, these are war crimes, and Hamas bears full responsibility for it. I'm sorry it's a tragedy. I'm sorry that the Palestinians suffer as a result of it. But the responsibility for it lies with Hamas.
Emily, me and you should consider that the real criminal is the international community that brought us to this strategy of killing each other as a man to justify the survivance of ourselves.
Israel is not interested in killing people for the sake of killing. Israel is interested in pursuing, in shutting down and deterring terrorism. Israel is interested in self-defense. We have no interest other than that.
You have tried one time peace with the Palestinians, Oslo, and you keep saying it failed, and
that's not true. There have been at least 5 offers on the table, including more than the Palestinians demanded.
And you continue doing war in Gaza. Now this is the war number 16.
We didn't continue doing war. We didn't continue doing war.
These military
Israel
operations
hasn't done
are war in Gaza.
anything. Israel hasn't done anything. Hamas is the aggressor in this situation. They themselves have admitted it with the backing of the Islamic Republic of Iran. But Samer, you still haven't answered my question. I really want to know. You're prepared to condemn terrorism against Israeli civilians. So what is your solution? What do you think the state of Israel and the IDF should be doing to stop Hamas terrorism?
You need to compromise. You need to do political steps. You need to acknowledge the rights of the Palestinian people to the right of self-determination.
We never had a problem with that. We never had a problem with self-determination of Palestinians. It was them who had a problem with our self-determination.
Lasting peace should be a just peace. We should learn this lesson. It will never end. This cycle of violence and killing and losing innocents.
I don't have a problem personally with the existence of a Palestinian state. I do have a problem with a Palestinian state that refuses to exist in peace with a Jewish, Israeli, Jewish, and democratic state of Israel. That is not the case for the majority of Palestinians. Time and time again, Palestinian leadership have rejected offers even to have their own state, something that Mahmoud Abbas has admitted was a mistake back in 1948. And yet they continue to do the same thing over and over and over again. And you can't say that this terrorist attack was a result of occupation or a result of oppression, because they weren't targeting military. This wasn't a strategic military operation. This was a campaign, a genocidal campaign against civilians.
We are inside this. Stop propaganda, please. Stop
propaganda. It's the truth. I'm sorry that you can't handle it, but this is the truth.
Palestinians, never. You are doing annexation now. Look at the government.
No, we're not.
Look at Smotrich. He is doing de facto annexation in the West Bank. He is expanding settlements. All what we are getting from Israel is expanding settlements. It's getting terrorists into the government like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich.
I don't agree with Ben-Gvir or Smotrich, nor do I agree with annexation. But at the same time, one would think that after 70 years of failures on the part of the Palestinian leadership, that perhaps they should try a new tactic other than rejecting every single offer that comes onto the table. That's not what we have seen. We continue to see rejectionism of the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish and democratic state side by side next to Palestinians. That is the core of the problem.
You are wrong, and you are doing again Hasbara. And I'm telling you, I am a Palestinian. I am Fatah. I am mainstream. I have been 5 years in Israeli jails, and I tell you, Israel.
So being mainstream is spending 5 years in Israeli jails.
Well, I was 5 years in the Israeli jail. At the age of 15, I was at the first Intifada, and I tell you, I recognize the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state. I don't mind if you want to call it Jewish state or Buddhist state or whatever. And I recognize that Jews have historical rights in the land of Palestine. But I was always here. You have never been alone. There was always others. And the others
that's factually untrue. That's factually untrue. I'm sorry. The Jewish people were here thousands of years before the majority of Arabs came to this land.
Have you ever been alone here?